There ain't no one else around but you. Say it's exactly what you're gonna do. Take your hands and dig deep into your soul. Let yourself lose control. It's a good day to have a good day. So tighten up your laces and be on your way. It's a good time to have a good time. So feel the beat down in your bones and smile. Oh, take your hands and dig deep into your soul. Let yourself lose control.
Hello.
Good morning.
Finally.
Okay, so a little bit of connection trouble. So
We're going to call it internet problems.
internet
It's
problems.
not us
It's not us.
at all.
It's Eddie Whitley.
It's Eddie.
No.
Well, you
Well.
know what? He really should have had everything set up
For us.
because we're technically challenged when it comes to these live.
I mean,
things.
Eddie, you only worked till 10 o'clock last night.
Right.
I don't understand why.
You had, what time does he wake up?
4:30.
Okay, you had 6 hours, Eddie.
6 hours.
6 hours to help us.
Anywho,
It's okay. We still
here
love
we
you, Eddie.
are. We figured it out.
We got it.
We are in the house, ready to talk because it's been too long.
2 weeks, I think.
Too
3
long.
weeks. Maybe not 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We didn't do it for 2 weeks. Last week, we didn't because you've lost us out to Mexico.
Yes.
And then before, I just wasn't feeling it, to be honest with you.
No, we just ended up having a meeting. Yeah.
With coffee,
With coffee.
because it was in the morning.
Yes.
Our meetings that include wine are only in the evenings.
Or if it's a lunch wine,
Right.
it's always white because that's appropriate.
Well, she always gets white. I do not.
Well,
Let's face it.
it's anyway.
What is appropriate? Is that what's appropriate?
I mean, I have always thought that for a lunch you have a white wine. Red wine is for the evening.
Well,
I don't know. You guys can tell me if I'm completely blowing smoke.
You can comment because that would be very helpful because
Right.
I'm not a huge white wine fan.
Right.
Ooh,
Well,
what was that?
That was a lot. That was a lot right there. Sorry.
Sorry.
So we are talking about what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, Brody's right here.
Yeah, Brody, if you start hearing snoring, he probably will start snoring soon because we'll be ignoring him. So I just got back from Mexico and had a fantastic time with Allie performing at in Orizaba, Mexico with YGP, and being able to enjoy being a performer for her was a great experience because I think sometimes the competition world it's always just about competing, and this was just about performing and having fun doing it. And I think that she's still learning how to have fun and release all the
stress and anxiety of like competition and
yes
that sort of thing.
And so we were very blessed to get to the airport in Mexico and have to wait like 3 hours
for all the other people to arrive.
We had to wait 3 hours.
I didn't go. I just got a play-by-play via text messaging and FaceTime.
I was like, I'm so tired. I just want to get to the hotel wherever we're going. And it's 4 hours down the road, which is a little stressful. And we had to wait. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be a nightmare. And we waited for everybody. And when the entire crew got there, it was like that 4 hour trip for those kids was a moment for them to become great friends from the very beginning. And what was really neat to see was that these dancers are people that are in the limelight. They've been on World of Dance on TV.
Who was on World of Dance?
Maddie Brown.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Maddie Brown.
Kudos to you, Maddie Brown.
And then we had Madison Penny, who's a gorgeous, gorgeous dancer, and some boys that we just enjoyed being around that are amazing dancers as well. But they were just kids having fun. And I told Bridget that I thought we should talk about perception today, because I learned, and Allie learned so much about perception and how she saw these people before she met them and knew them, and now are friends forever. So in the course of this week, Allie did not want to leave these kids, and
she was very sad.
She was very, very sad.
She told me it was the best week of her life.
Best week of her life. And so, I think what was so cool for her to see is that she rehearsed with them every day. They had studio time every day together, and each one of them has their own little internal struggle. There's something, we all have a struggle of some kind. And Allie struggles with a little anxiety, and she struggles with trying to get her extension where she wants her extension to be.
She struggles with perfectionism. She wants to be perfect and not disappoint.
Right. And
others.
These kids are exactly the same.
Yeah.
And it was so nice for her to have people that felt the same way and felt the stress, and she could talk to them about how she was feeling, and then surprised to find out that that's how they were feeling as well. So super, super great experience for all of us, even for Eddie and I as parents, to watch these kids and then to just rally and support each other. That was so fun. It was so fun.
It looked fun.
All the kids performed at different times, so they did not have to get on the bus and go watch each other. But they chose to be a group and to be a family the whole week, and they watched each other, they supported each other, they yelled for each other.
Important. And well, I can only relate it to sports like ballet. I consider a sport, and football, which my son. I think it's very important that people support each other, and that I think in dance there's such a big thing on you're competing with each other and you have to outdo each other. And we just don't believe in that at all. I think that it's very important for people to support each other.
I think it's very easy once you become an elite dancer where you are in the limelight all the time, where a lot of people just are like, I'm in it for myself. And so I was very surprised, and it warmed my heart that they wanted to be with each other so much that they wanted to support each other. And I was very impressed, and
it's good.
It was sad for me. It was sad for me to leave. I wanted to leave. I wanted to come home. I love home so much that I was ready, but I was so.
Y'all had a very wild ride coming home, though. Why don't you tell them about that?
So Orizaba is 4 hours away from Mexico City. And my husband in the mountains, and my husband thought, I feel the same way, thought we needed to be home early because we had not seen Sarah for a week, and we wanted a day before we started back to work to get into our normal again. So he booked an 8:40 flight in the morning, and so we have this gala.
4 hours from the airport, people.
Okay, 4 hours. So we have this gala event, and Allie danced, and it went amazing. And then there were all these famous dancers. It was amazing. And then they had this crazy party at an old, what do they call them?
Montessori?
Montessori's. And it was
a nun school.
But like
built
empty.
in when?
I don't know, 1900s. It was weird.
I thought Eddie said 1800s.
Was it? It was like,
I don't know.
Scary.
It's old.
It was super old, and it was beautiful all at the same time. And they had gone in and decorated it, and we danced and had a super good time. But in Mexico, we had people that took us at all times to and from, had special cars that we rode in, and special people that took us around and all that stuff. So same rules applied when we were going back to Mexico City. So we get in a van with a gentleman who is Spanish speaking only, and 2 other people that were going back to Mexico City. And we leave the gala party and immediately get our bags at 2 a.m. and travel to Mexico City. So
Jen likes to go to bed at 9:30. I mean,
this was a little
in her
late.
PJs.
This was a little late, a lot late, and Eddie is so calm. I mean, he flew jets for his, career, so he's like falling asleep in the van. Allie's so exhausted, she's falling asleep, and I'm just like,
and texting me at 2:00 in the morning saying, "I'm on my way. Please pray.
Pray
that I make it to the airport in one piece."
This man drove so fast. So fast. We were going down the road in the mountains, going around these curves so fast, and I was grabbing a hold of Eddie's shirt in front of me, and he would go, "What? What?" And I would be like, "What is going on? I don't think we're safe. I don't know." And then he's like, It's fine. And so we made it in 3 hours to the airport. He drove so fast. Crazy.
First time was 4 hours. The second time, 3 hours in the mountains on small roads.
It was
right?
crazy. It was nuts. But we made it safely. We're here. We're still a little tired, still catching up. But it was an incredible week. Definitely something that we'll all remember as a family going. So it was super fun. So here we are.
Here we are.
And football went pretty well this last week.
No, we lost. Brandon was really bummed.
Oh,
But
right.
we played Allen. It was a very tough team.
Oh.
And poor Brandon, I'm just glad that he walked away without being injured.
Hurt
because
badly.
those boys,
They're rough.
they played hard and they're rough. And I have never been this nervous about a game until Friday. And I was sitting next to my friend Colette, and she was next to me. She's actually one of our clients as well. And I was yelling and screaming. And at one point in time, I saw this kid take my kid and pull him down on the ground. And I said, "What? That's my baby." And Colette goes, girl. So the Cajun came out just a little bit. I almost had to go down there. I mean, she held me back.
Yeah.
She's like, "It's okay. It's okay." Anyway, so it was a rough game. We lost, but we're in the playoffs. Kudos to Prosper Eagles.
They're going to do just fine.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to do just fine. It's going to be
Allen
great.
is like top ranked in the state for years. I mean, it's
It
all
is
good.
what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So perception today is our
Perception.
chat. I think perception is something that, because people don't communicate as well as they should, they get these set things that they have in their head about others.
Yeah, they pretty much already have a view of what it should be.
Right.
Or what others should be.
Whether they meet you the first time, they have this perception of, who that person is just from that first meeting. And I really think that that's not fair. I think that we should give everybody a chance to really show who they are.
Yeah.
And that your first initial meeting with someone is just like these dancers that we were with, just the first initial seeing them dance and go, "Oh my gosh, they were on TV," and we could never hang out with them. We could never be in the same category.
People.
They're just
They're
people.
just people.
They're just
Kids.
people. and they struggle with lots of things, just like normal people. And I think it's important to give grace to everyone, because perception kind of rules everything.
It does. And perception as a business owner, I mean, that's pretty big. I think, especially, I struggle a little bit with it in regards to business, because I think people automatically assume that whenever you own a business that you have a lot. And that is definitely not what it is. You know, I think people often need to understand and realize that whenever you own a business like Jen and I do, or like my husband does, there's a lot of people that rely on you to be smart. And there's a lot of people that rely on you. There's like, you know, we have a total of 8 people that contract with us. If we don't do things right, and if we aren't financially smart, we could mess them up as well. Right. So we have to make sure that we're very conscious of how we spend, very conscious of our expenses. But that doesn't mean that we have it. It just means that we're smart with what we are given. And I think that that's, you know, a biblical thing too. I think that you have to be smart with what you are given in all things. Also, with perception in business, is that people often think that since they think that you do have a lot, that, you know, they bombard you with a lot of like, come buy this ad, come do this ad. And honestly, what did my mom used to say? You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. You know, you cannot spend what you don't have.
That's right.
And I'm a very big advocate on being as much debt free as you can when you own a business. If you have a slow month, then that month you need to cut back. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So perception is real.
It is very real.
You just have to be smart in business.
Agreed.
As your take on it, what is your take on that?
You know, I think that there's Brody.
He got tired of us not getting up to get him ice.
Yeah, he wanted ice, and now he's gonna sit in my
he's
lap.
gonna be our third wheel.
He's missed me really bad, so he's been like clingy. Yeah. Hi.
Brody, what do you want to say? What do you want to say, Brody?
Brody's like, I don't know what y'all are doing. So, you know, we have been blessed to build a beautiful facility. And we have been blessed to grow and then to remodel our facility within a year time. We've been
Which
blessed.
killed us, by the way, emotionally.
It really, I mean,
because we loved our wall.
we had a beautiful wall that divided, and I really liked that we had kind of that reception area. It was super nice, but it was to grow.
Right.
And that is a huge blessing in itself. And then, you know, I believe it's very important in our business that we are not stagnant. We don't get stagnant.
Yeah.
That
to
we
keep moving.
We keep thinking of, you know, what's the next thing that we are going to make us better. It's going to be not only something that I enjoy myself doing, but something that is going to go over well with our clients and our community.
Which
and
I'm pretty much the guinea pig on that.
Yes. So I think that, you know, from the outside looking in, I think, you know, a lot of people go, wow, you know, they have it. They got it all together. They got two studios.
All together.
They got it all together. They have 2 studios. They're gorgeous because, well,
and we're quite proud of it.
We're
quite proud of it.
We're very proud of it.
No doubt about it.
But we know that we have a certain number of years in our brain that we have that we're going to, our main thing is to pay it off.
Yeah.
To pay it off, to work really hard, pay it off, and be debt free, because that's how we believe we should live and run our lives and our business.
Right. It's very rare that any business person that opens up a business, a small business like what we have, can do it completely debt free. It's very rare. And so being that we're in this thing together, We have certain things that we have to do in order to make that happen, and we will make it happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yep.
But people think that since we've done this, that, oh my gosh, look at them, they're doing so great. And we're very blessed, but at the same time, we have to pay it back.
We are very blessed.
Right.
So I think that's another perception role within the business. I think in the Pilates world, there's lots of perceptions out there with.
Let's talk about the first, listen, when you come into our Pilates studio, we want your first initial reaction to be that everyone is welcome. We've said this, I don't know how many times before, but I had a preconceived perception of Pilates until I met Jen. Well, first of all, I didn't know very much about Pilates. I just knew of the term. I had never done it before. So it was one of those things that I learned, but I learned through getting to know Jen. And once I got to know Jen, then I felt comfortable enough to walk into this studio and to do it. But a lot of pictures on Facebook, pictures on Instagram, everything shows this perfect body, this perfect instructor. Everything is perfect. It's nicely, what do they call it? Touched up, And so for me as a person going in, I'm like, that's very, hard for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say what I said last night at the counter, but it makes me feel like, the person in the corner that's just not very athletic. And so it was hard for me to go in. But once I did go in, but that's a perception.
Yes.
That is a perception of the industry, I feel, as a whole, with people just regular people like me going in there and trying to do something that benefits your body.
Yeah. I think it's really important when someone comes in the door that no matter where they are in their life and their journey, what their goals are, what it is bringing them in there, that everybody feels at home and welcomed.
Right. That's huge.
It is huge because it doesn't happen across the board. It's not always, it doesn't feel that way always in spaces.
Right.
And so we have to work really hard. The people that we have working at Regen, that is part of our hard.
Well,
thing,
I
basically.
think, I think what people need to understand, speaking of perception, is that our instructors are regular people too, that have the same struggles as what we have, regular clients walking in. We have several instructors that if they don't feel like their class was perfect, they go home and they give themselves a really hard time about it. But it's something within them, but it's perception, right? So you think that Jen constantly has it all together and she's so perky and all this kind of, yay, I'm gonna do something really fun with you today. And then we're all scared because when she says fun, it's really hard. But
says every Pilates
she could be on it all day. And the moment everybody walks out the door, she's like, oh, I'm so tired. She puts on a show, but it's perception. Because really she's exhausted. But she does it.
I give 150% every time I teach, and it's out of love of what I do. I love it, and then when I feel that there's more going on in the room besides just needing a workout, I want to pour out whatever I can to give more of myself, and so
she does that in her personal life too.
I do,
But
it can be exhausting.
But it's the reason why people love you
and
love our space and love our studio, because we kind of attract people that I feel do the same thing.
Right. And
I mean, if you talk to any one of our instructors, they all pour their whole selves into their workouts. And so I think good energy attracts good energy.
Yes,
it's
agreed.
what we keep saying.
Agreed.
But anyway.
So yeah, I think it's always interesting, to look at when you come in and you see this Pilates instructor that's, looks like she's got it all together. First of all, we have Vanessa who comes in at 5:30 in the morning and and we have Erica.
She looks so good even when she works
So
out.
beautiful.
Listen, all of you instructors, I am like red and dripping with sweat in a spin class, and Vanessa is like, okay, let's go. And she's doing it. She's doing it, and she is sweating, but her makeup stays on. Vanessa,
Perfect.
I need to know what makeup you use.
Yes.
And I mean, it needs to be reasonable.
Right.
But anyway, you look hot.
Yeah.
So.
They come in and they give all that they have. And I think the perception of, well, I could never look like that. I could never, do those instructors work hard on their bodies.
They do.
And they work hard on what they put out there.
They have their own goals. I mean,
They do.
Emily wakes up every single morning before her kids wake up, and she works out every single morning in her garage.
Yeah.
So, in fact, she came in the other day and said, "Oh, I didn't work out this morning. I was just too tired." And I'm thinking, your body probably does need a break.
It needs a break.
I mean, she's a hard worker.
Yes.
And so all of them are. So I think you just have to understand that they may be putting you through a workout, but they have so much pressure on themselves to be a certain way, or they feel like they have to be a certain way. I mean, I get it. So they put a ton of pressure on themselves, just like what Allie does in her work.
Absolutely.
Just like what my kids do in their line of,
just like what
extracurricular.
you do in your job with money.
I do.
I mean,
a lot of
it's
pressure.
It's pressure, and it's making sure that you're taking care of all these people, and
Well, and that's
was
really what it
hard,
is.
really,
Ugh.
because honestly,
We just want to make sure we do it right.
That's right. That's right.
Just do it right.
So, so in our
Brody's very demanding.
he's being very bad, and
He wants that ice,
I know.
and we're
I'm
not getting
it.
it.
I'm not doing it.
No.
So-
Brody, you're going to have to wait.
Yeah. So, when it comes to our Pilates industry, I feel like the same rules apply. I think that there's still perception out there that these people that are on, Pilates Anytime, or they have been super successful and they're in this industry because they are out there, means that they're untouchable, and that's just
It's not the
true.
case.
It's not the case.
Not the case.
So it's really fun to. I think I got into my 40s and really realized that
You can't please everybody.
yeah, and I think that I'm not starstruck anymore.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how to say no, to be honest with you.
Well, that's hard. That's hard.
It's very hard.
But I think that if you go in and you realize that people are just people, no matter what platform they have, and you just take them for who they are in that moment, for that person, who they are, you will learn something pretty neat.
And half
along
the
way.
time, if they walk into our space, we don't even really know who they are until after they walk out and someone says, "Do you know who that was?"
Oh, well, that's good.
I
That's
just
great.
gave him a hard time. That is Mike.
Well, what's the best thing, I think, is the funniest thing that happened was Eddie. He likes to look at our who's coming in studio and numbers.
Right.
He's
a numbers guy
too.
Yeah.
And so one day the class was going, and he comes in, and I was not teaching it. I think Kara was teaching it, but he comes in and he goes, "Do you know who is in the class right now?" And I was like, "No, I hadn't."
And then he told us the name, and we're like, "Well, who is that?"
I'm like, "Oh, who is that?"
Don't know.
And he's like, "You need to know. You need to know who that is." And we were like, "We're not going to say who it was. We're not going to say anything about that."
First of all,
But-
listen, we really did not know.
We really didn't know.
I mean, we
And
don't keep
we
up
were
with
very
this particular
excited.
sport
We were very
well.
excited that he, chose to come to us, and that was awesome. But everybody in the room was starstruck,
And Jen and I were like,
and we were like, "Well, he was nice. He was
He's a
very
nice
nice.
guy.
He's a
He's a
nice
nice
guy.
guy.
His wife was super
Tall.
nice. I mean, he was cute.
he's cute.
Yeah, she did good. But they're just people. They're just people. And I think that the sports industry and all of these people that come out to our area to kind of hide out and have a home out here, it's really nice where they're not bothered.
Right.
So we're able to have them come in and out of the studio, but we joke with them, we help them, we make them sweat with them, and it's super fun.
It is
because
fun.
they're just people.
So perception.
Perception.
You know, people are people.
People are people.